So I started a business called La Cultura. La Cultura is a space. It's a space for us, by us. The tagline is franchising the disenfranchised. And I recognize that identity was a huge part of the disenfranchisement of people of color. That's why I named the business. That's why I named the space La Cultura. It's in Spanish, for one. It means culture. It means identity. It's a place where like identity folks can come and unite and connect. It's where identity can be highlighted through art or event-like gatherings, through fellowship. It can be celebrated. And there's education in that too. It's a space for Black people. You know, my Black colleague the other day asked me, why do they call themselves Afro-Latino? She's like, I mean, I know what Afro means. Obviously it has something to do with like African. She's like, but there's white-looking Latinos. Like, do Afro-Latinos think they're Black? Or, you know, all of these conversations. You're not gonna ask your white boss or your white colleague who, again, never had these conversations at home, let alone read it in a book somewhere. So I feel really confident. I feel really proud that was something that I got off the ground 2 years ago this summer. For all this to be happening now, you know, it's proof that the conversation didn't just start, that we're not just starting here, that George Floyd didn't all of a sudden show the world racism still exists, right? It always has, and it's always felt, but now America has no choice but to join in the conversation because communities of color are recognizing and understanding more and more so, day by day, really now, the value of their dollar.
I originally moved out here for a full-time job. I moved out to Mechanicsburg. I've traveled a couple of times with the company that I was with, and I always do a quick census check. And if you look at Harrisburg and you see what the makeup of Harrisburg is, I was actually very excited to join an organization like Harrisburg Young Professionals. But then I started going to their events. Great organization, great activities. They are not representative of the city of Harrisburg. Not because of my opinion. If you look at the census and then you look at the makeup of the group, it is not representative. And that is one of the things that really bothered me when I first moved out here. I was like, why is there not a representative organization that looks like what the city of Harrisburg should look like? And that just got me on a journey. Eventually found some people who were a part of a organization that was trying to do that same thing. Throughout history now, I found that there's been several waves of people trying to do exactly what YPOC kind of formed. There was a Harrisburg Young Black Professionals. And through that conversation, we were really looking at, hey, with this modern time, with what's happening, with the makeup of Harrisburg, what is the name that we need to really kind of come out with to capture what we're looking for? And it was professionals of color. It was of color, and that was a hard decision. We wanted to be Black professionals, and we wanted to be inclusive, but we wanted to make sure that we were very specific about not centering whiteness. And so we talked about professionals of color. It's the going to a workplace and being a minority, and that shared experience. Every single person, we have these discussions. During our events, our social events, we have these discussions where there's this shared experiences of the challenges of both people of color who have lived here and come from the city, also people who come from outside, and how they experience the world here, how they experience it in the workplace, how they experience it in trying to find certain restaurants, how they experience it in the social outings that you want to do. If you want to go out just for a fun time, what does that look like, whether you're from here or a transplant? It's difficult. There are certain microaggressions that people face, and if you're by yourself and you face it, you start to begin to think, well, am I crazy? One of the things that always bothered me at my job is the way that people talked about Harrisburg. But I didn't mention anything because I'm like, am I crazy, or is it off for me to challenge this? And we provide a space that people know, hey, this is a shared experience, and yes, it is okay to challenge these things at work. As a matter of fact, come to this organization and we can share that experience and give you tools to be able to present yourself in a way that makes you secure in what you're saying and knowing, hey, you're not crazy. Hey, that was a microaggression. No one should touch your hair. No one should be asking you to be the representative for Black people everywhere. Some of those questions might seem silly, but that's how some people may feel when they enter the workforce. And we wanted to provide a space for people to share that story among many others.